SportsMatters TV, bringing the sports home.
How's life been at the moment? Obviously, you're active as always. You're always up to something. How's the acting and all that going at the moment for you?
Well, I mean, there's absolutely nothing happening at the moment. The performing arts industry's kind of taken a hit, just as more than a lot of other industries. In fact, it's completely sort of wound down, as you know. Be the same in Ireland.
Yeah.
But I've got sort of little bits and pieces that are keeping me ticking over, and I do a bit of teaching and stuff on the side, which is starting up again, and also I'm doing a bit of writing, so managing to keep a toe in,
Definitely, lots of projects in the pipeline for when we come out of COVID-19, no doubt.
Yes, yeah.
We have to go back to the Dream Team days. Obviously, start off. That's when I first seen you on the TV screens. Luis Amor Rodriguez. What was it like to be part of Dream Team and witness that success?
Well, it was a bit of a dream come true for me, really. To get to kind of be paid to sort of kick a football around and kind of hang out with all those great people and pretend to be an Argentinian and so on. It really was, I thought I'd died and gone to heaven. And as you know, I joined in the second series, so it hadn't sort of. Obviously, I knew what Dream Team was, but it hadn't, really hit its stride. So it was a very pleasant surprise the way it kind of developed and it gathered a following and people really seemed to enjoy what we were doing because we were certainly having a ball.
Definitely.
Doing it. Yeah.
And like I always remember because I was quite young when it came out. Obviously, I was at that stage when I was a big football fan. I actually had Rodriguez on the back of my Dream Team shirt, which I bought in Cork. What was it like working? What was it like working with Carl Fletcher and obviously Linda Block? I know Linda Block's gone on to do stuff in Coronation Street, but what was the cast like? Obviously some great cast there.
Yeah, they were just a fantastic bunch of people. As I say, it was like, I don't know, suddenly being paid to hang out with just these really cool group of guys and girls. Carl Fletcher, obviously Terry Kiley, lived one suburb away from me. We were both West London boys, and in the second series there we filmed up in Bushy, just up near Watford. This old abandoned sort of the International School it was called. It was kind of like a Dead Poet Society, sort of old Victorian University, and we had the run of the place. So I used to give him a lift up in the morning, and we'd sort of get on the beers on the way home in the afternoon. And one of the great things about that school up there was that, like, the editing suite was there, and where the production office, where the directors were sort of storyboarding the next couple of episodes. It was all very central, and so for young actors, it was the most incredible training ground because you were welcome to sit in the edit suite. You were actually welcome. I was invited into story planning sessions, and anyone's input on their own character was welcomed. It was such a collaborative environment.
Yeah.
And it was all single camera. We were all shooting. We were shooting 8.5 minutes of footage a day, single camera, which is quite a lot.
Yeah.
And so everyone kind of. It's not that it was in the face of adversity, but there was a fairly big task ahead of us, and that tends to get everyone to sort of rally to the cause. So we, cast and crew alike, we really kind of loved hanging out with each other. We used to go to the Bushy pub on a Thursday night, I think it was, and we'd have pool competitions and really, it's 20 years on, it still remains as one of the sort of golden periods in my career. One of my fondest memories of work that I've done.
Definitely, and like as you say with the storylines, there was you were always in the main storylines with the FA Cup, the shooting, becoming manager. They brought you back. When you left, obviously there was a big huge gap in Dream Team. Obviously, a couple of years later the ratings went down. There was obviously rumours and stuff. They tried to bring you back numerous times, but you were quite busy.
Yes, that's true. And I was very upset. I mean, at one point I was in Australia. There was a couple of times that we were talking about coming back. And for one reason or another, it didn't work out. And which still is, it stings me that it didn't happen. Because as I say, I was so fond of the show, and because of the way, I mean, Jane Hewland, who is the creator and the executive producer, it was her brainchild, and we all have her to thank for it, because it was what it was, not wholly and solely because of her, but it came from her, and because of her collaborative nature and her readiness to have input from everywhere, we really felt like we had something to do with making it. We weren't just actors hired to do a job. And I don't know whether you know, but Linda Block, Alison King, and I dated for several years through that period. So it was a really a kind of a family feel, and those periods where it looked like I was going to come back, I was very excited and then very disappointed when it didn't work out, just through circumstances and so on. But yeah, it would have been, obviously it would have been a different Luis Rodriguez, sort of a few years on. I mean, the things we were talking about was coming back as manager, not as a player. Which the period where in that third series where I was gone for a couple of months, I had to come back to Australia. And Luis got a knee injury and had to go and rehabilitate. We had a couple of meetings about coming back as the manager, not a player. And my feeling was very much that it was being the player was integral to the character of Luis. Kind of like Maradona, who obviously eventually became a manager himself. But so I lobbied very strongly to come back as the player, with this desire to win the UEFA Cup, this lifelong desire, and that's when the idea of Ray, I can't remember the character's name, came that I would go and find this friend of mine to become the manager, so I could be the player.
What could have been? What could have been?
Yes.
What could have been?
Exactly.
And after Dream Team, I think it was a Resident Evil, and you went in and you done some of that kind of stuff. That was awesome. I watched kind of a lot of stuff on YouTube about that. Obviously, there was big things to come after Dream Team. Yes, well, that was that was another dream come true for me. Because you probably know I do musical theatre as well and theatre. And so I'd been doing something down in Chichester, the Chichester Festival, and someone reminded me that I'd been looking at a magazine and saw an interview with Angelina Jolie about her preparation for Tomb Raider. And I'd said to them, this person, I said, that's my ideal is getting a job where I have to develop a new skill. In fact, Dream Team, I had to really develop my
football skills because, I played as a kid, but, I was by no means at Luis's level. Still not. And yeah, this person reminded me that, because I think there was a photograph of Angelina on a gun range or something. And day one of my time on Resident Evil, which we shot in Berlin, they picked me up from the airport in the morning, checked me into the hotel, and went straight to the gun range and spent a couple of hours with Michelle Rodriguez learning to fire live rounds, and then we went to a gym and started learning combat training.
Epic.
So yes, I've certainly been very lucky in my time with these jobs that have come along. Which every day you go, I can't believe I'm getting paid to do this.
You work hard for it. What advice can you give to any inspiring actor or actress? Obviously, it's a tough industry. Obviously, there's a lot of work to do. But what advice can you give to them?
I would say very much, get clear about what it is that you want to do specifically, because at the end of the day, you really need to be the boss of your own career path. And if it's something, I always hark back to Judi Dench's advice to aspiring actors, which was make sure there's nothing else that you can do, because if you don't love it, you'll hate it. And those times, for example, on Dream Team, when in the dead of winter, we're doing a night shoot, and they didn't have a winter strip for Harchester. I don't know if you ever noticed. And the kit was made out of that kind of rayon, which is kind of stuck to you. And obviously we're supposed to be halfway through a game where we've been running our guts out, so that not only is it freezing cold, but they're spraying us with water. And you're kind of shivering and having to kind of really take a deep breath so you're not shivering while you're saying the line. And I remember going, I love this. This is fantastic, but if I didn't love it, I guarantee I would have hated it. And so, it's a career of big highs and big lows, and in order to weather them, you really want to make sure that you know what it is that you love about it, what your goal is, what you're aiming for, and stick to that, because it's something that then you can turn to in those hard times. And also in this day and age, and in this time, even compared to when I was doing Dream Team, the ability to self-produce, to like film stuff and get it on YouTube, to get it out there, it's so much easier than it used to be. Obviously, that means there's more content out there, but you can be working on your craft, you can be getting stuff out there, you can be watching stuff back and going, all you need is an iPhone and you're done,
Martin, we hope that we can get you over to Ireland in the near future. Obviously, it'd be great to have you over here. We're also hoping for a Dream Team reunion at some stage.
Yeah, I would love that. I've been seeing some of that mentioned on Twitter. As I say, Jane Hewland is the man, so it's. I don't know copyright wise where it sits, probably with her, but whether it's like a Christmas episode or something, it would be awesome fun. And most of us are still in touch with each other, even though I'm in Australia and Ali and Emma and Terry and all those are in England. We still sort of touch base.
A lot of people try to get a hold of Terry lately, Mr. Carl Fletcher. He's enjoying the life after football, I believe. he's a horse.
He's gone underground a bit. I think. I mean, he is Mr. Dream Team, really.
Yeah.
Um, yes, I actually haven't been in touch with him for a little while, so
you'll have to check
you
up.
know, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But we really appreciate you speaking to us today. It means a lot. We're huge fans, and we will catch up in a few months. This time we'll be in the office, not in the back of the car. The small fella will be he'll be outside playing, hopefully.
Great. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time, mate. As I say, I'm so fond of the show and so proud of what we did, and anybody who carries the torch, I'm so thankful to. So I really appreciate it.
You're a gem, Martin. We'll catch you in a few months, my man. Stay safe, and thank you for speaking to us from Australia. We really appreciate it.
Good on you. Thank you, Jerry.